Part 2. What do you do when the one person who taught you faith needs you to use yours? I wasn't ready for that kind of goodbye. But ready or not, I was about to learn what faith really looked like. Ever since my mom and dad sat us down to give us the news, I had questioned myself, my prayers, my faith. Was my faith just noise? Like swiping a card you hope won't decline. Swipe. Where is your escape? Swipe. Where is your faith? Declined. We arrived at the hospital. My dad met us at the elevator, eyes full of hope. The doctors are running tests, he said. We're waiting on results. We sat in that cold waiting room for what seemed like hours. Chairs too hard, clock too loud. Then the doctor called us to a conference room. I'm sorry, he said. The cancer's spreading. The chemo isn't working. She needs something stronger, but... I didn't wait for what was after the but. I bolted, straight to my mother's room. Tears blurred everything. Mama, why won't you take the stronger chemo? She smiled. That chemo feels worse than the cancer, she said. But Mama, she stopped me, looked me square in the eye with more strength than I had seen in her since the diagnosis. Everybody wants to go to heaven, Angel. But don't nobody want to die. This flesh ain't meant to stay here forever, baby. I stared at her in disbelief. Oh, close your mouth, she teased, shooing me into a seat near the bed. I'd rather shed sickness and sin than cling to a body that's breaking down and painful. I'll be glad to shed them both, she said matter-of-factly. Tears filled my eyes, and she passed me a box of tissues from her nightstand. I taught you to have faith, Angel, she said in that stern voice only a mother could have. But then she softened, took my chin in her hand and said softly, I'll see you again, baby. It'll just be on the other side of this life. Mama, I wailed. I can't do this, Mama. I can't lose you. Shh, she said, rubbing my back like she did when I was a child. Just hold on to your faith and to God's unchanging hand. No matter what, He'll give you the strength to go through and come out stronger. I broke down. I should have been comforting my mother, but instead, she was soothing me. Suddenly, 1 Corinthians 10:13 came to me again, but this time with clarity. God will provide a way of escape, not from the pains that life sometimes brings, but through it, and the escape, His peace, the kind that surpassed understanding, the kind that Lamar had shown regardless of my anger, the kind that said, hallelujah, even when the situation was out of my hands. God allowed my mother to live another 6 months despite the doctors only giving her weeks. And in those months, she lived life to her fullest, serving God, loving on her family, and getting things in order. And when she passed, you know what? It didn't cut as deep, because God had already started stitching the wound with something stronger than grief. Love and a peace that passed all understanding. I realized then He was the escape, not outside of grief, but through the middle of it. So I'll ask you again, what does your faith account look like? Mine was maxed out, but the moment I was overdrawn, God stepped in and covered it, and He'll cover yours too. If this reminded you of someone you've lost or someone you're still praying for, rewatch this when your heart gets heavy, and share it with someone who needs to know. God always makes a way, even when it hurts.